Hi, so our project was about Nearpod, and so we used a little Google slide to help us all work together. And so for the title page, we did all about Nearpod, and then the arrow pointing to Nearpod, and it's by me, Bryn, which I'm Carly Bales, me, Bryn, and Lainey. And so the way we adapted the whiteboard into Nearpod is like during the presentation, we're going to take the first slide is going to be like take the poll on the whiteboard, and then it's going to say how do you feel about Nearpod, do you have any experience with using Nearpod. So this is the point where we have the whiteboard tool on the board, and either we can write down what people's or everybody's thoughts in the classroom are, or they can come up to the board and write it themselves. So this is the first way we adapted the whiteboard tool to it. And then we're going to start off with the table of contents and say first thing we're going to talk about is what is Nearpod, and then the second thing is the features that comes along with Nearpod, and then the third one is how to use Nearpod in the special education classroom, which is really important for us and very vital for us to talk about. So in the next one, it's what is Nearpod, and then Nearpod is an online presentation platform for teachers. It allows the teacher to control the students' computers and to display the slides at a specific pace along with the teacher's lecture. Nearpod allows teachers to make content engaging and interesting by implementing games, polls, and quizzes to presentation slides. So along with this, students can't really get off task because their computer is going to be taken over with PowerPoint or whatever the teacher has assigned for that day, and it really helps keeping the students engaged whether you're doing games, polls, quizzes. All of it is better than just blindly students taking notes and all that. And then we added a little sticky note here that says you can create a presentation straight in Nearpod or upload previously created materials. Nearpod can be used in real time or at home. Teachers can assign lessons to students. So those little tidbits right there. And then Bryn found this really good video that we're going to play right here. I won't do it because last time it stopped my video for some reason, but you'll see it in class. It's a really cool video about Nearpod, and Bryn is actually the video. Like, she's teaching us how to do the basics of Nearpod. And then the features of Nearpod, we did have pictures. They show up on Lainey's and Bryn's. They just don't show up on mine for some reason, but they are there. So I put little pictures there, and then I said the features of Nearpod can integrate tools such as virtual reality, quizzes, and games. Like said on the previous slide, Nearpod can improve collaboration in the classroom, which is so true because the kids will be more engaged whenever you're teaching it. For example, the interactive lessons, which are a great way to engage kids, which is polls, tracking students' progress. So like on the Nearpod app, you can actually go and see what kids are getting wrong or like what they think about certain things if you're doing an opinion-based thing. And then they can join from any device. So like if a student doesn't have a laptop, unlike a lot of their fellow classmates, they can get on a phone or anything that's available to them at that time. And then if you already have pre-made slides on like PowerPoint or something and you want it on Nearpod, you can actually export it to Nearpod. So that can include Google or Microsoft slides into Nearpod. So that's great. And then for the next one, how to use Nearpod in the special education classrooms. So if we zoom in a little bit, because it's kind of small. So the way we can incorporate things that we need in special ed placements is making it interactive, which is so important for kids that are needing special ed services. So PowerPoints to keep students engaged and still share educational information. So if like, for example, if a student has ADHD or in an inclusion class, it can, like if there's something on the computer that's being controlled by the teacher in their own timing, then the students don't really have to worry about that. It just needs to be listening or looking at it and not having a multitask or like make them lose their attention easily. And Nearpod is helpful as a future special education teacher to learn and use in the future. Which is so true. If you're hearing everything else I'm saying, it is very true. As a teacher, you can assign homework or quizzes using Nearpod, and there's educational games as well. So like you can pretty much do everything you want on Nearpod. It's a very useful tool for special ed teachers or general ed teachers. So like assigning homework, like if you're doing a PowerPoint and then you can assign homework that includes what you said in the PowerPoint. So I really like that. And here's the second assignment we have for the whiteboard tool that we're adapting into this little project. So it says you have 1 minute to brainstorm. How can we use Nearpod to teach? Give examples and ideas. So this is where we're going to pull a whiteboard and then either we're going to write on it or whoever wants to can come write on it and give their examples and ideas because everybody's thoughts are different than each other, so it'd be good to know what they're saying or what they're thinking in their heads. And then here's another one. Let's talk about it. And it says give us examples of how you would use Nearpod in your classroom. Let's discuss how to use Nearpod effectively to teach our students. So these kind of go hand in hand, just like a little brain teaser up here. And then real life examples. So there's a time to climb. This is a little mini game in Nearpod, which Bryn said is really cool. I personally don't have much experience with Nearpod yet, but Bryn said it's really cool. And this one, you can put who, what, when, where, and why, and then the students can interact with that and put whatever they want. And it can also help with like knowing their W questions, which is what we're doing in a lot of my placements that I'm currently in. And then you're going to be able to see this better if I do PowerPoint slides, but it says represent the decimals on the hundreds grid, represent the decimals on the hundreds grid. So all of these you can put on Nearpod and they can see it, like if you want to do that for homework or anything. Then how do you feel now? Take a poll on the board. So we're going to put a poll in Nearpod and you'll be able to see that. I did have poll one, you can see it right here. I did have little play on words with poll, but it's not showing up on mine, but it will on theirs. And then we have last slide. Thanks for listening. We hope you learned something new. And then these are just little resources we used along the way. Thank you for listening.